Well, first of all, welcome to the White House. We are so glad to have all of you here, and thank you for coming. It's particularly a great honor for me to be here with the Vice President, to be able to introduce him shortly. So I'll be short because I know that's he's the real crowd pleaser here. But I just want to thank all of you, our veterans and the families who are here, for the service that you've given to the country, the service that you've given to each other, and really for answering the call when the country needed you. The honor flight is so much more about coming to visit memorials. I know you're about to do that, and it's a very, very special thing to do. But it's really about the service that you've given to the nation and to each other, and most importantly about remembering those who didn't get to come home. And I know all of you are thinking about them. And for us, it's an opportunity to give you, the veterans, the welcome home that many of you never received. And we want to say thank you. I particularly want to thank Pamela Mao and Dana Vaughn of the Greater Lafayette Honor Flight. We know this isn't your first time, but we know every time that you come, it's very special. And without your work in being able to do that, this couldn't happen. So we really want to thank you. And though he's not able to be with us today, we do want to recognize Earl Morse, who of course is your founder. And many of you may not know, but Earl actually got his start as a physician assistant at the VA in Ohio. So we're very proud that he saw this need and went out and really initiated such a great job. So we want to thank him. It really is an honor for me to serve you as the Secretary of Veteran Affairs. I can think of no nobler mission than to fulfill President Lincoln's promise that he made to our veterans. President Trump and Vice President Pence have been unbelievably strong in their support of doing what's right for you and getting the services and the benefits that you all deserve. And with them pushing to do the right thing, in these 9 months that we've been here, we've got 5 major pieces of historic legislation through Congress with bipartisan support to begin to start fixing the VA. We're making progress. We have a lot more to do, believe me. We understand that we have a lot that we're trying to accomplish. And with the support of Vice President Pence and President Trump, I know that we can do it. You deserve the very best. So I have the great privilege of having gotten to know the Vice President over these past 9 months. And I can tell you, you all know him, that his passion for doing what's right for veterans is inspiring. There's no question about that. He has a strong record that started in Indiana. I mean, I think he had a day where he passed 14 pieces of legislation when he was governor, all pro-veteran legislation. And I can tell you, it's more than that. He cares deeply about doing the right thing. As you know, he's the son of a Korean War veteran. He's the father of a first lieutenant in the Marine Corps who's now training to be a pilot. And I know it's particularly meaningful for him today to be with all of you from Indiana, the veterans of Indiana. So on behalf of all of us, thank you, Mr. Vice President, for the many years of public service and for being such a champion for our veterans. Now, it's with great pride, I'd like to introduce the 48th Vice President of the United States, Vice President Michael Pence.
Well, hello, Indiana.
Hello.
Secretary Shulkin, thank you for that overly generous introduction. More importantly, thank you for your strong leadership of the Department of Veterans Affairs. Our services to our veterans are getting better every day because of the leadership of our President and because of Secretary David Shulkin. Would you join me in thanking him one more time for the great work that he's doing? And it is great to be with all of you today, humbling in fact, to be among so many American heroes, so many Hoosier heroes, veterans of the Lafayette Honor Flight, and on behalf of the President of the United States and the entire First Family, welcome to the White House. I had to stop by and see you all today. I'm going to be jumping on Air Force Two in just a little bit and headed to catch up with the President in New York City, where there's a lot going on this week with the UN General Assembly. But it really is my great honor to be able to welcome you all here today and to share a few remarks about your service and the ongoing commitment not only of this administration, but of the people of the United States, to all the men and women who have served and who are serving this country. But before I go one step further, I expect there's probably some Air Force in the room, and I'm told that today is the 70th birthday of the United States Air Force. So let's hear it. You know, the old book says, if you owe debts, pay debts. If honor, then honor. If respect, then respect. And I'm just here today on behalf of your President and our entire administration to pay a debt of gratitude, a debt of honor, and a debt of respect to each and every one of you who stepped forward, and put on the uniform of the United States in your time. As the President said recently, you are part of a long, unbroken chain of American heroes. And on behalf of your Commander-in-Chief and all the American people, thank you for your service. Thank you for your selfless defense of our families and the way you've stood and fought for freedom. You are, in a very real sense, the best of us. We owe you a debt we can never fully repay. Each of you served in Vietnam, I'm told, on that front line of freedom. Amidst the jungles and the rice paddies, you stood strong, and the image of your courage is forever seared into the mind of the American people. As our 40th president said, your cause was a noble cause, and you fought as well and as bravely as any Americans have ever fought in any war. And on behalf of President Donald Trump and my family and a grateful America, I say to all the Vietnam veterans who are here, welcome home. Today's a part of that welcome, that ongoing, well-deserved, warm welcome home. And thanks to the Honor Flight Network, you've come here to our nation's capital to visit, I'm told, the Vietnam Memorial, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and to pay your respects to those who served beside you and didn't come home. Before I go further, let me just take a minute to say thank you to the Honor Flight Network and all these great red shirt wearing volunteers who are here with us today. For more than a decade, the Honor Flight Network has brought heroes like every one of you to Washington, D.C. to see firsthand how our nation has remembered, memorialized, and immortalized your service to America. Today, the Honor Flight Network has more than 125 hubs, including Lafayette Honor Flight. And I'd especially like to thank not only the co-presidents, Pamela Mao and Dana Van, who are two Gold Star moms who've organized 17 flights. Let's hear it for them. Where are they? But also all these red shirt wearing volunteers who are going to make this such a special day. Thank you. Thank you for loving our troops, and thank you for your family's example. We honor your service through memorials here in our nation's capital. But I know every one of you would agree with our president and myself when I say we mostly honor your service by ensuring that the men and women currently serving in harm's way have the resources and training they need to accomplish their mission and come home safe. I'm pleased to report to all the veterans gathered here, President Trump has already signed the largest increase in military spending in nearly a decade. And at this very moment, we're working with the Congress to pass what will be the largest investment in military readiness since the days of Ronald Reagan. Under President Trump's leadership, I promise you, as the President likes to say, we're going to make the strongest military in the world even stronger still. And as the President made clear in his address on Afghanistan just a little more than a month ago here at Fort Myer, we will be giving our men and women in uniform a plan for victory. And I'll promise you this, under this Commander-in-Chief, when America goes to fight, America will go to fight to win. President Trump is also committed to honor your service, as he likes to say, to stand with those who protected us. And he's been busy keeping his word, the men and women who've worn the uniform of this country. President Trump's been working tirelessly to empower veterans to get the care you earned and the service and sacrifice that you deserve. Whether it's at the VA or even at a private health care provider, we've been working with the Congress to advance opportunities in legislation that expands choices for veterans. Secretary Shulkin has been very active in this regard, and we commend him for it. I know the President is grateful. The President actually extended the Veterans Choice Program in April, and last month he signed into law legislation that will expand the Veterans Choice Program with an additional $2.1 billion per year. We're going to open the doorway to better health care for our veterans all across America in real time. And working with Secretary Shulkin and his team, our entire administration is working every day to make the VA as efficient, effective, and as accountable as each and every one of you deserve. We've already established a new White House VA hotline, principally staffed by veterans, for veterans. And to restore the highest level of service at the VA, President Trump signed a law to enact historic protections for whistleblowers, and we're pleased to report we've already fired or suspended nearly 1,000 VA employees because this White House will never tolerate the mistreatment of American heroes. As President Trump said not long ago, in his words, we will not rest until all of America's great veterans can receive the care they so richly deserve. As I close, let me say what a special joy it is to have a chance to stand with so many great Hoosiers who've worn the uniform of the United States. You know, my life never took me into the armed forces, but I'm proud to say that my dad served in the United States Army and served in Korea, and I'm an especially proud father of a United States Marine. You know, it was just a few short months ago that I traveled to the country where my father saw combat. I literally stood at near the demilitarized zone, the 38th parallel as it's known, on that front line of freedom, where South Korea meets North Korea. I looked out at the hills, and the commanding officer pointed me in the direction of where Pork Chop Hill actually was, just over the horizon where my dad fought together with his brothers in the 45th Infantry Division. You know, my dad got a Bronze Star for his service, and my family allows me to proudly display that medal in my office here in the West Wing. But I got to be honest with you, when my brothers and sisters and I were growing up, Dad didn't keep the medal on his desk. It wasn't framed and on the wall. It was in a drawer where no one could see it. My dad didn't talk a whole lot about his time in combat. And those of you that have seen combat, all those gathered here, know whereof I speak more than I ever will. I mean, my dad really didn't consider himself a hero. Whenever we'd ask him about it, he'd say the heroes were my friends that didn't come home. You know, in just a few hours, you all are going to have an opportunity to go pay your respects at the Vietnam Memorial and lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. And I know you're going to be feeling just exactly the same way. But all of you here today, I know, carry a burden in your heart. And I want you all to know that it's something I think civilians like me will never fully understand. Just know that you carry the deepest respect of the American people and all of those who have prospered under the freedom and the liberty that you defended. And as you carry this burden deep in your hearts, just know that you don't carry it alone. I promise you. The American people will always be grateful for your service. We'll always stand with you and all the men and women of the armed forces, past and present. And I'll make you one more promise. The veterans of this country and the members of our armed forces will never have a better friend in the White House than President Donald Trump. So my fellow Hoosiers, once again, welcome to Washington, D.C. It's really a great honor to be able to welcome you here to the White House, and it's a deeply humbling one. Deeply humbling for me to have the opportunity to serve here in this new capacity, and deeply humbling for me to be able to stand before all of you today. I hope today is, for you, as deeply meaningful as it is for me to be able to welcome you here. And so let me close simply by saying, on behalf of President Donald Trump and all the American people, thank you for your service. May God bless each and every one of you and all those that will be remembered in your honor flight today. And may God continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.